Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to LizziefayeLovesBooks. I'm Elizabeth, and it is Sunday afternoon, December 27th, and I neglected to get a Friday Reads done this past Friday. It was Christmas, so in my defense, it was a pretty busy day. We did have a very full day. We had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope that you did as well if you celebrate Christmas. And then yesterday was also a very full day. So today I am coming to you with my last Friday reads of the year, even though it's Sunday. I wanted to tell you about the books that I have finished over the last 7, 8, 9 days, and what I'm currently reading, what I hope to finish by the end of the year, which is Thursday, right? Yes, Thursday is the last day of 2020. So a lot of what I finished this week, about half, I don't have physical copies of, and I don't have a way to show you, unless what I might do is show you what I can show you and then insert a clip at my computer of the things that I finished that were audio that I don't have a physical copy of. So yeah, that's what we'll do. Meanwhile, let me go ahead and show you what I do have. Before I even show you what I have been reading, I want to show you what my family is reading. My husband right now is reading Swamplandia by Karen Russell. This has a blurb from Stephen King on the back. Part of what he says is brilliant, funny, original, also creepy and sinister. So if Stephen King says it's creepy and sinister, it probably is. And I think this is set in Florida, which is part of the reason my husband picked it up, I'm sure. So this is a library book, and it looks interesting. So then Katie and I went to the library on Wednesday, which was the last day they were open before Christmas. I don't think she has started any of these yet, but since she's on a little break from school and, you know, we had gotten at that point most of our Christmas stuff done, she decided to go ahead and pick out some books. So I don't know anything about this one, Every Last Word by Tamara Ireland Stone. If you know anything about it, if this is appropriate for my 16-year-old daughter to read, let me know. This is a John Green book, Turtles All the Way Down. I have not read any John Green. I've seen the movie of, oh goodness, what was it? The one where both kids had cancer. Y'all know. You know the one I'm talking about. I haven't read the book, and she has read it and thought she might like to pick this one up, so I'm good with that. This one I have read, Ready Player One. I am getting ready to read Ready Player Two. I did check it out from the library, and I decided that I could not get it. I couldn't fit it in before the end of the year. And now I believe that my library has an audio copy. So I'm going to try to get that as soon as I can and start that and finish that in January. But anyway, she's going to read Ready Player One. The librarian and I were talking to her because she reread this right before reading Ready Player 2, because she was reading Ready Player 2 as we were chatting with her, and she was saying that she had forgotten that there was a good bit of language in this. And I said, oh, yeah, I forgot about that too. I was just really enthralled with all of the 80s pop culture, which I lived through, so that was fun. But anyway, I just, reminded Katie, just because you read it doesn't mean you say it. So, Anyway, those are what my family has checked out from the library right now. So I have a couple of things, very few things checked out from the library, most of which I have already finished. I think I have checked out a couple of things that I plan to read. I don't know. I'm terrible about starting a sentence and not finishing it. Anyway, what I was trying to say is I think everything I have checked out right now is stuff that I'm planning to read this month, with the exception of the 2 graphic novels that are based on the Red Pyramid Kane Chronicles series. I've still got those checked out, just on the off chance that I think I could squeeze one of those in. They're still checked out from the library. But what I have finished this week, thank you, by the way, for all of you who watched and commented to my videos that I did right before Christmas. One of them was about my morning reading routine, which is basically my morning devotional time. And the book I was reading, my nonfiction Christian inspirational book that I was reading at that point, was Can Martha Have a Merry Christmas by Brenda Poinsett. And I did finish this on Christmas morning, and it was really a very nice book. It was not, there was not anything really earth-shattering, but it's just a gentle reminder. I would call it a gentle book. A gentle reminder to not get so caught up in all of the crazy busyness of the season, but to just remember to do things that are important, that you will remember, and to just not get so caught up in the commercialism and everything, but to remember why we celebrate Christmas at all, and that is the birth of Jesus Christ. So I finished that, and then since then I have started for my nonfiction Christian inspirational book to finish out the year, The Prayer of Jabez. This has 7 chapters, so it's perfect to finish out the year, and I read chapter 2 this morning. So then the other things I have finished, this book I mentioned last week that has really touched me, because this is about kids with special abilities, and it's almost like an illustration of kids with special needs, because with each of these abilities that these kids had, they had specific needs, and it was a camp situation, and I just thought it was delightful. It was about friendship, and it was just wonderful. I just really, really enjoyed it. The main character, his special ability is that he floats, and so he has to be weighted down all the time, or he could just float up into the universe. And they have a friend who is a time traveler who has discovered that in the future, because he time traveled into the future, and it wasn't that far into the future, and his parents were so shocked to see him because they knew he was a time traveler, obviously, but they were so shocked to see him because he had died at the point where he traveled to. He was not there. So then he tells one of his friends that he wasn't going to tell any of them that, because he just wanted to live. He just wanted to have a good camp experience, and which is, that is just such a perfect parallel for kids who have life-threatening illnesses. Oh my goodness. So then his friends begin to try to help him figure out how he could get through camp and be able to go home and not time travel into the future and not come back. So that's just one of the storylines. It's just so good. I just loved it. This is a Sunshine State book. I will be talking more about it when I do a Sunshine State wrap up. And now I've read all 15 for this school year, and they were all great. Several, not as many 5 stars this year for me as last year, I think, but that one was definitely a 5-star. So then I also finished the Ransom Canyon series by Jodi Thomas. The last 3 books were set at Christmas time. I listened to Mistletoe Miracles and Christmas in Winter Valley. Also, prior to these 2, I read number 6.5. It was a novella called A Christmas Affair. And some of these were better than others. Both of these were mostly about characters that I don't think had been introduced in previous books. So she kind of finished off the people we had met in previous books in that novella, the Christmas Affair. And then these were about the same area, but I don't know that there was any crossover characters except maybe the sheriff. There were a couple of mentions of a few people from the other books, but they were not the main characters in these books. So it was a good series. I have to say, in comparing this series with the Harmony series, that I think the Harmony series was better. I really did enjoy it better. And then the Whispering Mountain series was a historical fiction series, and it was really good. There was only really one book in that series of 7 or 5 books that I did not enjoy. And overall, I'd say Harmony was probably my favorite, and then Whispering Mountain, and then this. And I don't think I've read any of her standalones, but I have some of those on my TBR. Okay. Then the other stuff that I finished, I will show you. I'll go now to the computer and show you just on my Goodreads what I finished. Okay, I'm at my computer now. I want to show you a few of the books that I finished this week, mainly the ones that I don't have physical copies of. I listened to 2 books from the Christmas Central series by Caroline Mickelson. I kind of accidentally started with book 5, maybe last year or year before, and it was cute. It wasn't, I had a couple of little issues with it that I didn't like, but still it was cute enough that I thought I would like to go back to the beginning, and it turns out that I have enjoyed the other books in the series much more than that first one that I read, which I think is book 5. So let me just show you the 2 that I finished, and then I'll do an overview of the whole series at some point. Book number 2 was Mrs. St. Nick, and so this is mainly about a young woman who is an efficiency expert, and she comes to work for Santa Claus. His son, they call Saint Nick because he does a lot of good for people, but he puts on a persona of being sort of a good for nothing, lazy, whatever, and he really isn't. But she gets that perception early on, and she doesn't like it. So it turns out the book is a romance between those two, and so obviously from the title, she becomes Mrs. Saint Nick. But it's a really cute little story, not too long, maybe 3 or 4 hours on audio, which I sped up, and so it didn't take me that long to listen to it. In fact, I listened to this probably between the hours of like 3 and 5 in the morning on Christmas morning, because I was so sleepy on Christmas Eve. I laid down, well, I didn't lay down. I sat in the chair, the recliner, to take a little nap, get my second wind, got back up at 2 o'clock. And turned out my husband had kind of done the same thing. He had dozed off, and he had just woken up right before me. And so we got up and did the stockings, and then I stayed up a little bit longer and made my Father Tim's Christmas morning breakfast casserole, which has to go in the fridge for at least 4 hours before you bake it. So I was listening to this while I was doing that. And incidentally, if you are interested in learning what is in Father Tim's Christmas morning breakfast casserole, then you might want to pick up Jan Karen's Mitford cookbook, which I think, from what I understand from Kate Howe's video, that was kind of the inspiration for her year in Mitford read-along that she's hosting this year. I, of course, have read all the Mitford books. Love them, love them, love them. Mitford is my favorite series. I would live there if it was a real place and I could go. Definitely I would visit. Anyway, I've gotten off track. So I listened to this, which was really cute. So then I don't think I got a chance to listen to the next one. So the first one is Miss Kane's Christmas. I believe I listened to that in October because it was on Audible Escape, and the others were on Hoopla, but for some reason this first one, Miss Kane's Christmas, at that time was not on Hoopla. So I went ahead and listened to it then so that I could make sure that I started the series back from the beginning. So this one was very short. It was maybe 2 hours total at regular speed. The Return of Kris Kringle. This is about the cousin of Saint Nick. So it's Santa and Mrs. Claus's niece, and she grew up in the North Pole, but then later moved down below and started working as a chef, and she was in a relationship with another chef. They had just got engaged, and then she found out something about him that she didn't like and broke it off. And now she has gone back to the North Pole to sort of lick her wounds. And unbeknownst to her, Santa has hired another chef, and it happens to be her former fiance. So it's sort of the reconnection of them, and it was really cute. So they're both chefs. The cute part of this story is that the elves only want to eat things with sugar in them, made of sugar, and Kris tries to introduce a healthier diet, and she even suggests that they add some fruit to breakfast, and they're like, what did we do to you that you would punish us like that? And she's like, well, fruit has sugar in it, it's just natural sugar. And they're like, yeah, but you're trying to poison us. And it was really cute. So then I would love to go ahead and listen to the book 4, The North Pole Prize. It is on Hoopla. In fact, I need to click that I want to read it. But I only have one borrow left. And if it looks like I can use that on another book that I really want to get in before the end of the year, then I will. I want to use, that's my priority. But if it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get to it and I still have that borrow left, this one is probably also just about as long as the one before it. So I can maybe squeeze that in at the tail end of the year. The North Pole Prize. And then the Christmas Makeover, I didn't love because of reasons. I don't know. Santa and Mrs. Claus sort of made some choices that I thought would be kind of contrary to what you would traditionally think of as Santa values. But anyway, I'll have to look up and see when I listen to that. I think I listened to that for the Audible Escape category challenge. Maybe, I don't even remember what category it was for. Anyway, it was cute, but I did have a couple of issues with it that I don't want to go into right now. And then there's there's two more. So we have Eve's Christmas Wedding and A Very Marisol Christmas. So I don't think those are on Hoopla either. I may have to buy those on my Kindle. So yeah, I can't finish the series because I don't have all of them available to me. But I thought it would be fun to go ahead and at least listen to a couple of cute little Christmassy stories before, during the Christmas season. Okay, what else did I listen to or read? I already told you about Can Martha Have a Merry Christmas? On Scribd, I listened to two really short decluttering books, Clutter Be Gone, Declutter and Simplify Your Home and Keep It That Way, starting today. It's by Kimberly Wilson. And it was okay. Nothing really earth-shattering. I find that I enjoy decluttering books, not because they give me new information, but because they're just motivating. And there was another really short one that I listened to that's not even on Goodreads, and I did not like it. In fact, I left a review of it on Scribd, so I don't have it here. I don't even remember the name. Deaver Brown, I think, was the author. And he was just way too flippant for my taste. He was basically saying, if you want to, do better, just do it. If you want to declutter, just throw everything out. Just like, no, you don't get it. Then I listened to this one, Simply Clean, the proven method for keeping your home organized, clean, and beautiful in just 10 minutes a day by Becky Rapinchuk. And I hope that's how you say it. And that was pretty good. It was a little bit longer than the other one I showed you. So, it was good. Then I listened to a book, Talk to Text, Text to Talk, on my Kindle, Tracking Danger by Terri Reid. This is the 0.5 prequel novella to the Military Canine Unit series. And so in this little short story, they did talk about the Red Rose Killer a little bit, but they didn't really get real into the story. And I think this happens before the book one, where all the dogs are let loose and everything by the Red Rose Killer. So anyway, that's what happens in book one. It kind of starts the whole story. Someone they went into this military base where they have all these military canine dogs, and they just set them all free. So throughout the whole series, it takes the whole series before they are able to find them all. And so that's one of the storylines that goes through that. So this one I did enjoy. I am now done completely with the series, except for this Christmas one, which I can't find anywhere. Well, it is on Kindle. I'm going to have to probably just buy it if I can't find a physical copy of it. It has two short stories in it, and I believe these take place after the main mystery is wrapped up, because it was wrapped up in book 8. Two stories, Christmas Escape by Valerie Hansen and Yuletide Target by Laura Scott. So those I have not read. I would have loved to have gotten that whole series done, and I would love to have read this during the holidays, but doesn't look like it's going to happen. And let's go back now. I think that's about everything that I read this past week. Let me go back to my list. I think I talked to you about the Shirley Jump books last week. I wasn't a huge fan of these. The Fortune Island duology, Can't Get Over You, was the second one. It was better than the first one. I did like it better. Yeah. Okay, so that is everything that I have finished reading. And I'm going to go back now to my office and tell you about the stuff that I'm currently reading that I hope to finish by the end of the year. I just want to show you real quick what a good job my husband does with cookie decorating. He did these this morning while he was watching the live stream for church. I had to go to church in person because I lead the music, but Emily just wasn't up to going. And we had made these cookies yesterday and decorated a few and ate them, and then these were still left undecorated. And I did not know what a great job he could do with decorating. I am going now to assign him all of our future cake and cookie decorating projects. But he even made a Bob and a Louie. The Louie is already in a bag to take to Katie at work. And Bob is Randy's dog, and Louie is Katie's dog. So anyway, I just thought I would show you these. Okay, now I'm back, and I want to show you now the books that I am currently reading, and all of these are books that I plan to finish by the end of the year. So on audio, I am listening in my car to The Wonder Boy of Whistle Stop by Fannie Flagg. This has been really good so far. Not a lot of plot really yet, just little snippets of stories and vignettes, a little bit of a look at what has been happening with the characters from Fried Green Tomatoes all throughout the years. And it's just in that wonderful Fannie Flagg down-home country style, and I am enjoying it a lot. And then I started on audio cassette in my kitchen, The Pursuit by Lori Wick. I just started this a day or two ago, and this is book 4 in the English Garden series, so I will be very happy to finish this series, and that'll check another one off my list. This is set in the early 1800s. This one is set in 1813, and it's set in England. Then another, I feel like there's one more audio. On Hoopla, just yesterday, and then I restarted it today, I started Kiss Carlo by Adriana Trigiani. I've been saying her last name wrong, apparently, because the audiobook narrator pronounced it Trigiani. I think I said Trigiani. Of course, I know every once in a while audiobook narrators get things wrong, but I will be listening to some of her other books next year. But I had a goal to listen to or read 10 new to me authors that I have collected 4 or more books by in the 3-year period of my 20 by 20 challenge. And I had one left to go. I didn't want to start a new series. And so this is the only book by Adriana Trigiani that I own, except for the Big Cherry Holler, Big Stone Gap series. I own all of those, but I didn't want to start another series until the new year. So I picked this one up. It's kind of chunky, but on audio, I think it's maybe 16 hours sped up. I can get it done in 8, and I'm done with most of the other audiobooks that I wanted to listen to other than the 2 that I just showed you. So I didn't really have anything else to listen to on my phone until we get to the last day of the month, when my Scribd, some of my things I have saved on Scribd are going to come available on December 31st. And so I did listen to the very first Dearest Dorothy book early in the month, and then because I had listened to some other stuff on Scribd, I was cut off from the rest of the series until the 31st. So if I can squeeze in books 2 and 3 of the Dearest Dorothy series on the last day of the month, they're both very short and are not going to take me very long on audio. Book 2 is this one, Dearest Dorothy, Slow Down, You're Wearing Us Out. And book 3, Dearest Dorothy, Help, I've Lost Myself. These look super cute. I really enjoyed the first one. And I mentioned possibly in the future doing a video about books with senior citizens as main characters. This would definitely fit that bill. And I want to get a little bit more of this series under my belt before I tried to tell you about this particular series. So that will be coming, but give me just a couple days to get that done. And then if I finish The Pursuit and The Wonder Boy, I know it's upside down, and the one in my car, if I still have any time at all left for a CD, I have this, I Am Half Sick of Shadows by Alan Bradley. This is book 4 in the Flavia Duluth series. I showed you last week the Red Herring Without Mustard, which I finished. And so this one is set at Christmas time. See that Christmas ball on the front. So if I can get to that one, I will. If not, I'm not worried about it. It's just something I've had sitting around. I bought that at a library sale, and I just thought it would be fun to read it at Christmas time. But it's not a priority at all for this year. And then in print, I am reading several books, and Oh my goodness, I need to get these read. I'm going to have to try to take some sit-down time and try to finish these. Of course, I will finish reading the Bible this year, and I have already shown you the little tiny book somewhere, the Prayer of Jabez. I have that, and then my year with C.S. Lewis. My goal is to reach at least 100 books in print. And right now, it's looking like it's going to be more like 95 if I get all of these finished and maybe one more. So we're just going to go with what we can get done, and that'll just have to, I will just have to be happy with that. One that I'm not really in the mood for, I kind of wish I hadn't started it, but I wanted to finish off this series. This is a companion book to the Ugly series by Scott Westerfeld, and now I'm half done with it, and it's not hard to read. I just am not really ever in the mood to read it. This is Bogus to Bubbly, and like I said, it's just kind of a companion book to the Ugly series. It does explain a lot, so I kind of wish I had read this maybe in the middle of the series, maybe after the first or second book. I don't think this would have spoiled anything, at least not to the point where I am now. And it would have helped me to understand and visualize it a little bit more. So not a bad book, not earth-shattering, but kind of wish I had read it earlier. And then I am just by maybe 4 chapters from being done with Over the Gate by Miss Reed. This is a delightful book. It does have a progression of kind of a story, but mostly each chapter is just a recollection or a little story within itself, and it's just delightful. So good. I'm really, really enjoying it. And then I have read a few chapters of finally, the Grace of Easton Hill book I've been holding up all year that I want to read, A Girl to Come Home To, and I will finish this before the end of the year. Then I cracked this one open, but I'm probably not going to read any more of it until I know for sure I'm going to finish those, because I can always move this one completely to January and start over. But this is the only trilogy in one of my stacks of my 20 by 20 challenge. I think it's stack 18, where I had 6 trilogies, which total 18 books, and I've read all 5 of the other trilogies, and I have not read this trilogy. So I thought, wow, it would just be so great if I could get this trilogy done and finish that stack. And I thought, well, it would be really great if I could just at least get the first one read. Well, the third book in the trilogy, I can get on audio on Hoopla. I've only got 1 Hoopla Borrow left, so I'm holding on to it, not using it up, until I see if maybe there's a chance I could zip through this book and maybe the second book. This is True Love and Homegrown Tomatoes by Julie L. Cannon, and it just sounds like it's such a fun, down-home, country-style book, kind of along the lines of Fannie Flagg and other Southern humorous authors that I love to read. So I would love to read this. It is a goal, and I will try not to beat myself up too bad if I don't get it done, because, it's not the end of the world or anything. But it is a book that I would really, really enjoy. In fact, this whole trilogy I know that I will enjoy. So that is about everything so far. There are a few other books that I've got right at the top of my Goodreads to read list, a couple of other audiobooks and so forth that, maybe I showed you all the audiobooks. Definitely some other print books. I still have 2 cozy mysteries that I had really wanted to get to by the end of the year. Didn't get it done. I may still buy one of those on ebook so that I can listen to it text to talk if I get all my other audiobooks done. I don't know. It's down to crunch time, end of the year. I don't like to carry books over into next year. I did get a decluttering book for Christmas, and Katie wants me to start it now. It's kind of a workbook. It's by Cassandra Arson, who is the Clutter Bug on YouTube, and I saw the book in the store, and I took a picture of it and sent it to my husband and my daughter. They both ended up buying me a copy, so Katie's going to return hers. But she's like, Mom, let's start this now. And I was like, I have this rule. I don't start books in December that I can't finish. I don't carry them over to the beginning of the year. And she looked at me like, come on, really? So I did read the prologue. I probably will read a little bit and just not add it to my Goodreads until January. I know that's makes no sense to you, I'm sure. But in my brain, I just don't like to have things hanging over from December to January. I like to clear off December, start with a clean slate in January. That is all I think that I want to tell you about today. Happy New Year to you all. I will be back soon, hopefully before the end of the year, with another video. I just wanted to give you one last reading update. And then, of course, after the first of the year, I will have a monthly wrap-up and some wrap-ups of the year and my 20 by 20 challenge. I do want to let you know very soon you should be seeing a video from me regarding Ribset. Read Your Own Bookshelf-a-thon. That was created many years ago by Miranda. Her new channel name is The Life of Miranda. And she she hasn't done Ribset in ages because she took 3 years off of YouTube. And now she's back, and several people said, bring back Ribset. And so she is, and it's going to be in mid-January. And I get to be one of the hosts. I'm so excited. So you will be seeing and hearing from me more about Ribset very soon. And I'll tell you exactly, if you are not familiar with Ribset and you don't know what that involves, then I will tell you in a future video. But for now, save a couple of days in the middle of January for a very special readathon. And for now, that's all I have for this video. I will be answering comments today, hopefully, maybe before you even see this video. Thank you all so much for those of you who commented to my last 2 videos. It was just overwhelming how wonderful you guys were to comment to both of those videos, and I'm super excited that several of you are going to join me in my Get Serious About Series reading challenge for 2021. I will have a TBR for that and show you the 21 series that I am going to be working on. And that's all for now. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book. Happy New Year, and God bless you.